Weather's not a problem, I think are you on yet?
We're getting a tape, sorry.
I get educated on small government, talking about SB2. I think SB2 is we had a danger to this town 3 years ago.
It's twice this happened.
Yeah, to me, that's a danger to democracy.
Yes. Totally agree with you.
Elections either, those are local elections.
Oh, absolutely.
701, Mike.
Okay, I'm on, yeah, 7:01, we're gonna call the meeting of the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen to order, Thursday, March 29th. All three selectmen are present, town administrator and recorder is present. Recording for the video for the town is Lee Martell. Thank you, Lee. And I'll start off, gentlemen, with some old business, minutes.
Yep. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting on March 22nd. Motion to approve them.
I'll second Bob's motion.
As amended.
As amended, thank you, Jim. Any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the 8:45 non-public meeting minutes from March 22nd.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, those are not sealed, gentlemen,
And they're not amended
and
either.
they're not amended. All in favor?
Aye. You got that today.
Yep.
Should have run that way first, so.
It's all right.
There's a line.
You gotta shake things up a little bit.
I'll make a motion to approve the 9:04 non-public meeting minutes from March 22nd.
And I'll second, and those are amended. So
As amended.
I'll second that.
As amended.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's all set.
We already got first quarter expense revenues?
Isn't it scary? It's already
Jeez.
April 1st next week.
Just get out of the meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna open up for public comment. I have two members of the public. Here, sir. Is it-
Fred Mullen, I came up in case I get reappointed. I was gonna have the town clerk swear me in if she was still here at the time.
Okay, she will be here, and that's next on the agenda, so we'll get to it right away, so we don't have to hold you up this evening.
Okay.
Nope, thank you.
Okay. Bring it back to the board, and it's first on the agenda is the appointments. So we should have something in the.
Well, I pulled together the selectmen's reps, and Linda obviously will have the appointment, I don't know what that list is.
You wanna check with her and see if she got it ready for us? Lynn, thank you.
Okay. So we got already, if you wanna take a gander at that, this is what was done last year, Bob. So that's
Okay.
previous history, and that's just a worksheet for us. Some are by appointment, and some are just courtesy representatives on the committees.
Yep.
And I think, Bob, you had one major recommendation during the year, as far as a courtesy appointment. You were talking about the
Joint
loss.
committee. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it takes another set of eyes to see the different problems that we have with the buildings. I mean, I've gone through them, and so if someone else gets to go through them, at least, you know, that concurs with what we're looking at.
I can take that one if you want, Mike.
Okay.
They have a meeting Wednesday at 9
Next
o'clock.
Wednesday?
Yeah, this coming Wednesday.
Let me put a note down.
It's 8 o'clock, I think, but we can ask Linda, she's on there, I'm pretty sure. I get her on.
AM,
Yeah, I get her in the morning.
Wednesday.
Thing is, another thing I think the following year, I always keep it switched up, so we keep
I did go to one with Bob at the beginning of last year,
Yeah.
try it out.
Okay.
So I don't care if, I don't mind staying on the committees I'm on.
These are
In
the-
fact, I was asked to stay on
Those are last year's.
a couple of them, so
And I think that,
I think one of them, they didn't wanna ask me, but I'm gonna stay on it anyway, so.
Mike, until next year, I think it'd probably be wise for you to stay on the planning, I don't know what your thoughts are.
after being on there for 10 months, I feel, I'm just starting to understand the
Yeah.
process fully, anything is,
Maybe I'll do it the last year, something to that effect,
I can,
on my last year.
absolutely,
So I think that, you know, like
okay,
you said, you're just getting your feet wet, and there may be some issues coming up in reference to roads that you should be on there anyway, so.
well,
Let me look at these now, we got Town Hall was Bob, Chairman of the Select Board, where is it,
Okay.
Energy.
Highway Safety Committee rep.
I can,
Yeah, you were on last year, you wanna continue?
sure.
Okay.
And-
The only thing in the minutes, you have to be more, you have to be more clear on roads when you identify roads.
and
For
George
the
Ross will
record,
be-
he made a recommendation on a road last week and the tape recorder missed the road, and he mumbled the road and we couldn't pick it up. And we were like scratching our heads what road you were talking about. But we clarified that today. Town Hall Restoration Rep, who was that?
That
I'm
was,
not there.
Okay,
Oh, my God.
okay, leave that as Bob. KFC Rep,
That's me, I like the chicken.
I was thinking the same thing when you said that.
KTFCA,
Should I sit in on this?
Yeah, they're looking at the selectmen's rep, you have appointments of.
Right, because I've got
so,
something for
historical witness, Republic, police department rep, why don't you put me down on that?
you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Solid Waste, we don't, that's TBA, we're not in that co-op anymore.
Or not, okay.
To be determined, we get money back, and if it's to be determined, if we ever comes up again, Energy Committee Rep, do we need one?
I
I'm
think-
on there, I think.
Okay,
Yep, Bob is on there.
Mr. Awareness, Bob, are you on that one?
Just like I in some on that.
Capital Improvement Plan, who was on there last time?
I think, Mike Kaminsky.
I think so. All right,
I can see how many meetings you went to.
I don't think we had any.
I'm just-
Department.
The only thing is, I spent more anguishing hours over at planning board, because that was, you have to do homework before you get in.
That's not a bad committee to be on then.
Tell me about it.
I'm gonna have to share what I.
Yeah, it's okay,
think I
that's
did
fine.
today. Sorry.
Lean, we have these, we'll give this to you later.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept the revised selectmen's representative positions.
As,
And I'll second the motion.
I don't really think, we have.
As determined, right?
We just revised it, so.
So,
Okay.
You wanna go down through it for the public? Anybody have any questions in the public?
no,
Okay.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Just get the list for you.
That's for you.
wanna give her that copy
Yep.
too. 'Cause I
This
I
is,
think-
think it's the same as last year.
Well, there's a few little changes, but nothing much.
What changed?
I got on,
Can I,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
what
Dave,
changed from last year?
Dave, good. Wait a minute.
she has the list there now.
Dave Knowles gonna be the joint loss committee,
Yeah,
Okay.
which doesn't require an
This doesn't have
appointment.
appointment paper,
And then, Dave Knowles gonna be police department rep, and that doesn't
which also
require.
does not require an appointment
Correct,
paper.
yep.
and you have joint loss at 8 AM next Wednesday?
Yep.
We do.
8 AM, okay, I'll try and make sure of them there.
Okay, now Linda's got some other papers, and well, the difference to the gentleman who came early and wants to get on his way, we can do him first.
Oh, absolutely, would you like to take Fred
Yes.
first? Absolutely.
No,
Take
no.
them all.
No,
Next week is the.
well, I
oh,
wanna
I'm
ask
looking
you
at
question
March.
anyway.
What's their difference?
I was wondering you were a full member, I used to.
Donna says she wanted to hold up for another year because
Which is why,
the rain,
April.
there's still,
April
there's
4th, okay.
still the same problem with the kids.
okay, I have you down for one.
I got an appointment on the 11th, I just wanted
As far as I know.
Understood. Okay, looking at this appointments here, we're gonna share this one.
Does it make a difference?
It does to her, so
To,
We only looking at the highlight.
it doesn't make a difference to me, yes, ma'am.
the one down,
This one.
that's what
Yeah,
it
that's,
is.
that's all good.
I have a paper ready
Those
for you,
are
because
not
I
necessary,
was referring to
those,
something.
That's okay.
those positions get going on within the meeting.
Yeah, so she got it highlighted just because they need to.
Yeah,
do
but
it.
you
We
still
wait,
want the
they're
papers
expired,
to
the
get
date
sold.
expires.
Okay, good.
Right.
No, because I
Do you want a copy, Dave? I'll just make one.
No, we're good, we're good.
No.
I'm assuming she's,
2018 conservation trade,
Yeah,
that's the case.
once, if they approve this, I was gonna see you if you had the papers, that's all.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know if who's gonna be on there again.
oh, looks like Bill's on.
okay, in that case,
Yep, and Environmental Energy Committee.
Yep.
That's next year though, it's good for another year.
Well, you folks, I tried to lay this out. What I do every year when I redo this is I go through
Linda, grab a chair.
I just love to kneel. It's Monday, Thursday, I'm praying. It does feel good to have a different position.
Okay,
So I take what you usually see in the town report and then I highlight everything that's expiring, so it just calls my attention to it. So if it's highlighted, it means I'm still waiting for an answer
okay,
from various boards or people.
all right.
If it's highlighted and crossed out, that means these people are no longer interested in serving in the position. Does that help you?
Yes,
Yeah.
Then I will,
What are we doing on welfare, Linda?
then we're gonna discuss that in non-public
we'll
tonight.
discuss that in
yeah,
one.
okay.
So these are the ones I've got already. If you wanna start signing, Fred just answered my question on historical awareness, so I'm gonna run down and get that paper
Okay.
so you can sign it. I'll be right back.
So Fred's not in here then?
One more. Fred's not in there, but he will be
Sure.
post haste.
Okay.
Okay. Then, we did this last year, as I recall, went through every one separately, and, it was one committee, we named them as a group. So, I'll start with the first one, and then we have the vote, on Patrick Bound, for Town Forest Committee. He's got,
Oh, I see, town force, there's no highlights here.
okay.
Is he on there? I don't see.
Yeah, he's 2021.
Oh.
Put that one aside till Linda comes
Okay.
back.
Yeah,
The next one here, we have, the Recreation Committee. We have two members, we have Heidi Wright and William Johnson.
but they say 2019.
Yeah, she said upcoming ones as well as.
You know, I wonder, this is term ending March 31st, 2019, this is next year.
Right.
We may be a year ahead of it.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, we don't wanna, it's nice to be thinking ahead, but that may be a little too far.
She did do the 2019, I'm not sure why, but. What do you got there, zoning, you got Dan Delco?
Dan, is Dan one of them?
Let me look back at this page here, zoning, huh, he's not here either.
The zoning,
And John Trotter?
John Trotter should be one.
John Trotter is 2018, so we could do
Yeah.
John Trotter.
Okay, John Trotter.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dan Delco.
okay, well,
He's not even highlighted.
yeah.
I gotta redo this.
Do you wanna
one.
highlight, yours?
I should've just printed one out that I got on the computer.
okay. So we can do John Trotter.
I'll make a motion for
Yeah, okay, please? It's just,
Make a motion to nominate John Trotter to the zoning board of adjustments,
I'll
term,
second-
term ending March 31st, 2021.
I'll second that.
any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One done.
I don't see, oh, there it is.
Bob, sign this one, this one will be ready to go.
So we did one, check
Isn't
that
Dan
one.
Delco's not on there?
No, Dan is right here, yeah. Linda, I think you may be a year ahead of yourself.
On the
What year did I-
2019s,
All the 2019s?
Yeah, you know the 2019s.
and Dan Delper's on here, he's showing 2021 as expired.
I was,
So
I was doing a lot of cutting and pasting, okay.
that should be good for another
And Woody's another one that.
Woody's another one, he's good for 2021.
21.
Unless this list is wrong. This list right or wrong?
Yeah, I could only do this one,
Okay.
you know, no,
Would you
they're
rather?
3-year terms for
Right,
most of these, so
But if
Woody
they don't
at
expire.
2021 is correct.
But on the list, he's already good till
2021.
2021.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why,
because I was trying to update the list as I went along, never mind. On
So-
which list?
Oh,
Okay.
So we shouldn't be
He's
looking
on-
at this list then?
no, the one that
See, where
they
it
sent
says
us in the selectmen's,
He was appointed last year, till
emails
2021?
actually have the current expiration dates.
that's,
So this one here is.
That's why I said I should've printed
Where's
that
the-
one out.
Town report.
Good idea.
I see what you're,
I've got a different
I don't know.
page than you do, I thought I pulled these out of the same. I see. This was the one I used before I started playing around with it.
Okay.
So this is updated, so he was 2018 in the town report.
Oh,
At
okay,
3 So I was,
okay,
I was trying to update it as I went along.
alright, okay.
Do that to me.
Because the one you sent us online has the
Take it
current
back, I'll make
expiration.
a motion.
Right.
Okay.
And I've been trying to, because this eventually I'll take the draft off of it and use it
So
in town
this,
report.
no sense in
Rather
using.
than
No,
it.
that's not-
Okay,
We're
I didn't
here.
see it, otherwise I could have helped you print it
No,
or whatever,
that's-
but,
It's okay. Oh, here's some.
Okay, what's right?
Okay, I'll make a motion for Dan Delpra to be appointed to the zoning board of adjustments, March 31st, 2021, expiration.
Then I'll second that.
Before we go any further, Linda, I wanna make sure these went through the chairman of each committee.
Yeah, yes, I didn't make any changes unless I talked to the
Okay,
chair.
all in approval of Dan Delper for the zoning board? Aye. Okay, thank you. Just a matter of procedure.
No, it is good, because there's one chair who doesn't use email, so I had to make a personal phone call to him.
Yeah, I will.
You were an optometrist?
Yes.
How come you write so? It looks like you're giving a prescription.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion for Patrick Bowen for town floor committee, term ending March 31st, 2021.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Look at all three. Try and sign one of those.
I hear you.
Okay,
So two, make them at the same time.
I'll make a motion for William Johnson and Heidi Wright to nominate them for the Recreation Commission and term ending March 2019. And one says March 31st, 2019, so I guess the 31st it is.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Guess you better make that motion.
You read my mind. I have 4 individuals for the Highway Safety Committee. I'd like to make a motion that we nominate Dave Knoll, Jeff Crosby, Dennis School, and Jonathan Wigan to the Highway Safety Committee, term ending March 2019.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion on these individuals? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And, you
I'll
know,
recuse myself
Okay.
from signing it. Two is all we need.
this one just your signature and it goes forward?
And why can't he sign it?
Yes,
I
okay.
guess I can, but
Yeah, you can sign it.
you shouldn't sign your own nomination, should you?
Yeah, you can,
We can?
yeah.
Alright, small town, we do anything.
Not. This is the one he's waiting on. Make it happen.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we nominate Frederick J. Mullen, an alternate on the Historical Awareness Committee, term ending March 31st, 2019.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted you.
Well, it's still, you're on your way.
Yeah. In case you wanted, the question that Linda had, that Donna didn't tell her whether or not I was gonna be a regular member or an alternate. I said, well, Donna asked me to stay on for another year, so I'm assuming the alternate, because there's one member that's got a family problem,
Bob needs to sign that one.
and they don't wanna lose that person,
Is that Fred's?
Okay.
and I'm taking that person's place for the year. Yeah,
Thanks for coming in, Fred.
welcome.
No, it's, she showed me her workshop, Dunn's workshop. And
Yeah.
I was very impressed with how much effort she puts into that committee.
Oh, Donna, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's,
amazing the stuff she finds and digs up.
oh, truly, and I just, and she tells me these stories about people just, instead of taking them to the transfer station, this stuff not even related to the town, but of historical value, she's
Yeah.
turned over stuff that has nothing to do with the town to the state, and the state was just like, this open arms, said, thank you.
Yep,
and so
Well,
it keeps it out of the transfer station.
Right, well,
Puts it-
same with the Goffstown Historical, she's passed stuff on to them, and they're,
So it's quite a win-win for everybody.
yeah.
Okay, well, just keep doing the good work of the committee.
Well, that's what she gets the big bucks for.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, now let you take care of that one.
Is there several of them on here?
I believe so.
Which group are you talking about now?
Historical Awareness Committee,
Okay.
okay. I'm gonna make a motion for the following people to be nominated for the Historical Awareness Committee. Robert Boynton, Kenneth Swayze, Leo Martell, Paula Mangini, and Robert E. Martell as the Selectmen's rep. Term ending March 2021, on all of them except for the Selectmen's rep, that one is term ending 2019.
I'll second that. Any discussion on those? No, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
There's a lot of them ending at once, huh?
I think last year I was, we weren't doing them as groups, we were doing them individually.
Yeah,
Big mistake.
Yep.
my first year, I wanted to do a lot of reading.
Well, I'll let you know, I was in negotiations, but I guess she was all done negotiating with me because she got my name there.
Yeah. Guess negotiations are done for you, sir. Here's the format for that.
Energy committee.
I'll make a motion that we nominate John Stevens for the Energy Committee, term ending March 31st, 2021, and Robert Martell to the Energy Committee as the Selectman's rep, term ending March 2019.
I second that. Any discussion on the energy committee? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. There was an email attached, if you wanted to read it, this from the chair with the recommendations. Steve's recommending the appointment, there was two people talking off last year's.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's go together.
Lee, do we have a new calendar out? Is that in my box, brother?
She's gonna have it ready, or they're actually printed and ready for distribution, but you can grab it before you leave, and we'll have it for next week. The April internal
Yeah,
calendar.
I just wanna highlight my, try and make the meetings.
I'll get
Okay.
that for you.
I think we're done with appointments for this evening, there will be more to follow, I'm sure, next week.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, the next item on the agenda was, we wanted to I wanna revisit this core construction strategy, how we're gonna approach this and where we're going with that, and I'm gonna open up to the floor, gentlemen.
Well, I wanna start with one thing.
Okay.
I did speak with Jeff Trexler in reference to looking at the existing plans, only to check out our options. And he had agreed to meet with me, early next week since he has the school underway now.
Okay,
So we're gonna look at that, but more for options than, and not so much for our lawsuit,
okay,
on what we have for options up there and doing that in wood.
alright. In other words, they did do some wood supports, but they didn't augment it with steel, and that's what's probably the what's left over in this.
That's correct.
And, alright, so that would be step one. Now, will give us,
So I hope to come to the, we'll have some sort of,
okay. The second thing is, as we talked about, the last legal opinion we had was almost circular. I mean, they didn't really give us any direction except call the lawyer again and have her charge, bring up another bill for us. I didn't feel we got any substantial,
no, I didn't, we go to our
Advice.
town attorney for advice and, we seem to get opinions that kind of make us do our own decisions and not a lot of decisions.
Right, I'm no lawyer here either, so I'm not sure which direction I wanna go, but
I think that's happened on several items in talking with Lean and being at some of these meetings with this town attorney. I'm not sure if it's not time to, look outside the box, starting with some of these new subjects.
do we have a contract with this certain attorney's office, or is it just per case?
There's no retainer, they typically will submit, and when there's an increase in their hourly rate, they'll give us a
Which
summary
they
sheet,
just did.
of what it will cost us to hire, depending on the lawyer we choose. So there is no contract involved.
But they did just have a $50 per person increase from what I saw. We signed it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I did not see that memo. It must have been attached to an invoice or a bill?
No, it was just an FYI, it was a.
Yeah, where they went up. I think you actually put it in our package.
I did that?
I think so. We had it for review, so I was assuming it came from you.
But going back to school construction though, that's what the topic is. Well, the thing is, no, that leads to the other topic. Do we need a different lawyer to look at that?
Well, that's what my thought was, that we should, and some of these new issues coming up, maybe we have a different firm look at them to see if the way we're going, using our town attorney.
Then we would wanna put it out to bid, is what we would wanna do. And not that it would be, any cost associated with it, but it's basically getting, picking a firm.
Did that go out to bid that first time?
Well,
How did we get with that firm, I guess?
it went out to bid, probably about 10 years ago, but the argument that the board has had over the years is that the firm that you work with tends to know the problem things that are occurring in the town, and they just start to get familiar with the town, the zoning or whatever, and so they're more apt to stay with that same company for a while. They may use a different attorney within the firm, but,
Yeah, I've seen several issues come out of that office, and I just couldn't believe how they were handled in the information that was coming back from them.
This particular one is just a straight contract failure.
Right.
There's nothing.
Should be
unique.
easy.
Should be an easy one. It's basically, we have a company which failed to deliver their contracted services and materials, and failed to pay their subs.
And we asked for the best way to resolve that.
yeah, and she gave us two options. One, to either sue them without a number, or go out, get a number, which I think you and I were
Would be
tentatively
better.
working on,
Yeah.
and then get some quotes. That is a little bit more complicated than it sounds,
It
because
is.
I've contacted the two other bidders. One said he was not interested in it, and then one of the office staff took a phone message from the second person's,
Yeah,
third person's.
unfortunately, we're getting into a busy time of the year, and
Now, if we sued them, would it be, would they get credit? And so the question I have, would they get any credit for the work they've done? What was their title?
yes, when you sue somebody, it can only be for the part of non-performance. So anything that they've performed on and completed, they're not gonna obviously get sued on and have to pay for. It's non-performance, what they didn't do.
Is that
So
right?
it's only a portion of their contract that we'd be suing them for.
But you're suing them for, if this is a contract
Yeah.
and they bid the entire job, and that was their bid, that's what you're suing for, is to complete the project.
That's right.
Or if you had bids that you could show, if you took them to court, we'll say you took the score to court and there was gonna be some kind of a wiggle where they're trying to get out of it, is you could demonstrate to the court that these are the prices you have now to try to finish what they started.
And that's why I believe not only a price, but a contractor that actually wants to finish that and will come to court with us would be the best thing, because the judge is gonna look at what it's gonna cost us to complete that contract, and then he's gonna take that out of score, most likely because they didn't perform on their contract, even if it's above what they bid it for.
So the next step is to we need someone to, we don't have to put out the bid, but we need someone to actually bid what's left of the remaining.
That's the difficult part. As soon as you contact, like I contacted the two other bidders,
Because it's partial, they don't wanna get
they don't wanna
involved.
get involved with it,
Okay,
so.
but thing is, at this point, what we're asking for is, we need to probably pay someone just to do an evaluation of the site, see what was done, what wasn't done, and what it would cost to finish what they would estimate, and there's a professional estimator to determine what it would cost to finish it.
And that's what Dave offered to do.
Yeah.
You said you were gonna go up there, take a look, kinda get a feeling of what was left.
And then I think we might have to try and reach out to some contractors that we
Right, that's,
know in the industry to get that number, because without that solid number,
but
I don't think we're gonna
And the
stand a
thing
good
is-
chance in court.
I think that's, something that we'd have to pay for someone to come in and do it. The thing is, nothing's free. And the thing is, so we're not asking someone to come in and bid for it.
Because it's a partial job
Right.
already.
So we want someone to come in and look at what's done, see what the plans were, and say, this is what you're gonna estimate, this is an estimate of what I need to finish the job, based upon my construction experience. So, the thing is, if you can get someone who might be interested in taking this job, and I figured that would be maybe a couple $100 for someone to come in and spend maybe 2 hours looking at it.
You may want, when you go look at it with Jeff, because he's an engineer that does structural. He's done some for the schools where they've had problems with the roofs, rafters, and find out if he is aware of a particular contractor
Yep.
where we could get a number from.
Okay.
Because I did reach out to Joel, who designed the whole package,
Right.
and he said that it was up to us to determine what was left.
You know,
Cause I
just-
asked if he could look at the work,
Right.
and based on his report, give us a percentage completion.
You know, I just had a light go on in my head when Bob was mentioning that. We have Bowen Construction, who's been proven to be a reputable contractor working right here in our school with supers on that job daily. Since they're in our town already, it wouldn't be much for that contractor to take a look at this project, and they're a formal company.
Yeah, and give us an estimate of what it might cost.
A lot of mom and pop companies wouldn't wanna get involved in this, but a light commercial company like a Chicoine or a Bowen or those companies would
Cause I think you need to
have the
take,
estimators that would do that job.
I think you need to take score to court first for non-performance, and if you had a number from a contractor,
A
at
hard
least you
number.
can say, this is what it's gonna cost us to complete it,
Regardless,
because they didn't work within the parameters of the contract and give us what they bid on.
And if we don't have that, the judge is gonna look at the part that they still owe us, which is 5,000 and change,
call it a day.
and call it a day. So we really need that number, because we're looking above that number, I'm pretty sure, so.
Cause you're gonna have to come up with a reason as to why they haven't completed it.
Okay, so the action item is we need to, contact a professional construction company.
Would you say I should try to contact another structural engineer to look at these plans? And then look at what is completed?
I don't think we need to do that, only because it's gonna be, identified on that plan. Most of these companies like Bowen and, you know, these larger commercial companies know what they're looking at on those plans, so they'll be able to see what's there existing
Yeah.
and what's not there from the plan. And let them determine that and give us back a number on what it takes
So you
to
look,
finish.
look like a construction manager.
Yeah, which, you know, companies of that size will have somebody appropriate to look at it. They'll have project managers, they'll also have persons.
Because if you're
to
looking
bid
at
that in his
another
office.
engineer, I mean, Jeff has already volunteered
Right.
that he would do some of that.
But
Okay,
we need the numbers at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so the action is, why don't we wait 1 week and see what comments Jeff has to say with you, and then after 1 week, then maybe he has a different path he can recommend.
But you're right, but regardless of the different path, this path we need to go down to get that bid to go to court and give that
All
to
right.
the town.
yeah, we do.
Okay, so we got the plans delineated, we got
Yep.
copies of them.
Yep, I've given a copy to Dave, you're gonna bring them with you when you meet with,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff?
let's make it a goal for this week to identify the company that, again, we realize there's gonna be a cost involved, because the time is money, and, we're gonna have to pay for it, but that's the only way we're gonna get the numbers.
Well, you gotta, again, and Dave made the point, you have a contractor that's working on the
On-site.
school
yeah,
that may have, they have estimators.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
tell you,
right,
office.
right.
I'm
They
gonna
can
tell you,
send someone out
I'm
to
in
look
this
at it.
business daily, and most everybody is booked to the end of summer and early fall already. That's a medium-sized company, they're just gonna be tough to get this summer, so if we have Bowen here, a lot of times the super's on a job, and there's not a lot to do in the beginning when it's a starting and they're doing excavation,
yeah.
but they're required to be there.
So ask them to give us a fee, what they would do if they could. come
Yeah,
over.
well, I'll have them go right up and take a look at it and give us
And
an estimate on
give him
it.
blueprints, he'll need to look at the blueprints, and
Well,
the scope of the
actually,
job.
actually, the super may contact his office, cause they may have people that are doing estimating for them that would come out and look at it.
We
two more
wanna,
copies of that print for me,
yeah,
so I'll, put a note down for Lean, I'll grab those 2 copies. So I'll leave one with Jeff and I'll leave one with Bowen if they'll accept
because
it.
those are the amended ones with the different drill
That's right.
holes, yeah.
So who's gonna go reach out to Bowen? Is gonna be?
I'm gonna reach out with Jeff because he's already got a
In,
relationship with them.
okay, so Lean is off your plate?
Mm-hmm,
And so I'll come in and get the copies from Lean on Monday,
yeah,
set the appointment up with Jeff.
And we'll shoot for something hopefully this week.
I'll probably try and do it after my joint loss management meeting.
you know what I
since
think I'm gonna
busy.
do too, is I'm gonna send them to you electronically, cause if you
Okay.
talk to Jeff or email him,
I actually
maybe
have
we can
Bowen's
just-
email already as well, so.
there you go,
perfect.
maybe you could say, hey, I've got a set of plans that the company's defaulted on, is it possible for you to give me a price
Price to complete.
to look at it and give us a,
Yeah, and then we'll look at options with Jeff about maybe going wood and not going
Right.
with the steel, because
And
I'm not too fond of penetrating
No,
that rafters.
and at this point, I just wanna get the money that's due to this town,
Right, and this should solve that issue.
and then we can move out with another option.
Speaking of the town attorney, Lean, do you think you can find us the original, bid paperwork to send that out, the
yeah, I do have it.
request for price, you have
Yep.
that? Maybe we can review that at next week's meeting.
I think so, yeah, we can do some more talking about that.
Yeah,
'Cause that's a
if we have
correlation
that, we
subject.
can kinda read it and go over it and.
Right, because this would be a good test of a firm, because it has nothing unique to the town, all it is a straight contract law.
And I'm in agreement, anything that the firm's working on within the town on certain projects, we'll have them finish them, but if we pick a new firm, they should start up with new items.
Yeah, we can, that's
You know.
appropriate, yeah. Okay, can we end the school construction, gentlemen? Are we ready to
think
move on? Okay,
Do we have any from the public on it?
no, well,
No, other than what you said, you're gonna have Jeff up there and he can, outline everything that needs to be completed.
And I was just giving him a
With
break,
you.
we talked already, but I wanted to let him get by this first couple weeks with the school, cause
Yeah.
as we can see, that was
And
chewing
as
up
you
some time.
said, sometimes things are a little slow, so they could send a couple of guys there to work on it,
Yeah.
It really could be a good deal,
Yeah, I think it would be very helpful.
yeah.
okay, next item is the, we spent so much money on the quarterly review for the
Wow.
first.
That's just an FYI. I will typically provide the board with a report of revenues and expenses, so that if there's anything that stands out, the board can, talk about it.
So,
I highlighted a couple lines in the expenses based on the Department of Revenue's account numbers. The revaluation capital reserve gets those account, that 4-digit category adds the 14,000, so next week I'll be transferring those funds to the, capital reserve for deposit, so that will go away, but that is an extra over the bottom line account. So you really have to subtract that from what we have.
Because it's already accounted for in the
Right,
capital
the
reserve.
other warrants are separate, but for some reason, the revaluation is part of those accounts with the assessing department. And then, in the personnel, where we had the 2633 for the 2%, warrant, I added it in that line that used to be called, I think it was longevity or something, and we had nothing in that category, so where there, some of them are like tax associated numbers. I just wanted to reflect or point out that the number's been added into our budget, but it'll be dispersed within other lines within the budget,
You're right,
okay?
because that's the total,
That's the total, yep.
okay?
so you're gonna rename that column, is that what you're trying to say?
Right, I tried to rename it, and I did in 2 sections of the, but when I merged it over, it didn't carry the new name over, so
Came
I,
out as X's.
yeah. So
You know,
it is gonna be warrant article number 11, 2% raise.
Oh, is that what that W11
Yeah.
stands for? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I noted that, I just was kinda curious about the highway department. There are 75% left in the entire budget, I was looking at, the roll salts and sand. It seemed like they're doing okay.
Yeah, the winter contractors though, there's not much left there.
Nope. But the thing is, we're not having any more snow, I just decided.
Especially in the fall, you mean?
Well, I took out my snow stakes this year, 80% of them.
Solid waste, looks like Woody might have enough for a plow, no.
You know, there's a big article on solid waste, that glass is no longer a commodity. Manchester Union front page this morning.
It looks like the police department, if they run at this same budget, the next 3 quarters will have just enough to squeak that full-time
Squeak,
in.
squeak it.
And the reports do get dispersed to the departments on a regular basis. Some of them ask for them weekly, some ask for them monthly. It's just so they know that when they're going over on their budget, that they need to come before the board before it's a red flag and have to explain themselves.
And just since we're talking about finances,
But,
Lean brought it to my attention that, the department, use of credit, we had use of credit cards, an avalanche of expenses on December 31st this year. I think as I thought I put out, that if you needed to get routine supplies as you go along and to do your business, or it was mission critical, you would do it.
yeah.
But the thing is, we gotta,
It happens every year. I think the way the board presented the strategy meeting was to not make exorbitant large expenses without permission. And so some of them were curtailed, they were stopped before they could occur, but on the other hand, there's small ones, like John Wigan will do the same thing. He waits to the end of the year, and if he's got excess funds, he can buy equipment for the fire department. I'm gonna propose sending out a memo that the credit card purchases have to stop after a certain date, because
What are you thinking, the 15th of
the
December?
15th
Yeah.
would work out well. I think at that
Middle.
point, they would know,
how the budget, how they.
how much is left
Yeah.
and make it,
I think it's just a process to get them looking at it earlier than later.
yeah,
And after you go through a few years, it's like the budget process is getting easier, cause it's being looked at a little bit more in
Yeah,
advance.
yeah. And the problem with the credit cards is you can make a charge in December, but you won't see it. If you make it just by the cutoff,
Yeah,
you
we're
won't see
seeing
it till the end of January, sometimes February,
Yeah.
before it shows up on the statement of the credit card. And then it becomes problematic.
So as we're having our talks this year, we'll try and do a 15th cutoff.
Absolutely, absolutely. The thing is, there's always gonna be exceptions, but the thing is, I'd rather keep it as an exception, but not have routine pens and pencils bought on December
We
31st.
could even make the exceptions have to come in front of the board if possible,
Yep.
you know, so. I know that's
Okay,
common.
it's just, this is something we wanna keep in mind as we go, I agree with you, just,
Where are we gonna look at the revenue end as well first, Mike?
on this side, well, it's kinda early, but we can.
No highlights on the revenues.
No, that's just a three, it's still early on.
That's what
The
I
only
was
thing that I can see right now that's looking okay is we budgeted conservatively for the current use tax. I think I have 3 pending that I'm waiting to get the assessor to, recommend to the Board of Assessors. So right now, we've already collected 28,000 of our 60. Again, each penalty is split between conservation and the town, so.
And I wanted to ask about, because there were many citizens concerned last year about the agriculture operation on 13.
Yeah,
Was that covered?
that is another one that's pending for
Okay.
current use penalty.
We had a lot of citizens concerned there.
We have, we've got the revenues and we've got the expenditures.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get with this, maybe a copy, I'd like to follow the surplus. And when we follow the surplus, I'd also like to have which ones are allocated. So we kind of follow it through the year and see how that's coming for ourselves. I think we got that several times last year and that was helpful for us too.
In what way, the surplus?
Yeah.
How I showed the end of the year? I mean, this is too premature for me to come up with,
No, cause there's, in our town surplus right now,
yeah,
there's a substantial amount of money, am I
Yeah.
right?
yep,
I'd like to make sure we follow which ones are expended through the warrant articles and which ones are attached
oh,
and which ones
okay,
aren't.
yep, and then we will have.
Cause I can follow it, on like a monthly basis or even a quarterly basis.
Yep.
But when it comes all at the end, it's hard for me to understand how each one of those got used.
All those other expenses are not part of this at all.
Right,
A warrant article is allocated under a liability account.
yeah,
And I do have a spreadsheet that I show the remaining balances of those outstanding warrants.
In other words, when the warrants don't fully execute.
Correct, I can give you a list of what
so
we have
I'd like to look at our
pending.
surplus, follow those warrant articles that are attaching that, or anything else that's attaching the
Yeah.
surplus, so we kind of follow it through the year. You
Okay,
gave that to us a few times last year,
right.
towards
so-
the end of the year, but I'd like to see it as we go through the
Okay,
year.
so I'll start with the list of what we have for, non-lapsing warrants.
Yep,
And that got reduced substantially because we have had some that have,
gone
been
away.
spent.
Yep,
And then, so I see what you're saying, we had 294, for example, by the auditor's recommendation, whereas the DRA was including the
yeah,
warrant.
the DRA is 460, they were 264, and we added, I think 57,000 or 47,000.
More
Yep,
to-
yep,
I wanna follow that through the year and watch it increase, so as we come to the end of our year, we'll know, you know, what percentage we're at, and just be able to follow that closer, and, cause it came at the end of last year, and I wasn't sure how those attachments affected it.
but I think what you're describing there is what you're gonna be watching is the spending down of the warrant
That's correct.
articles, because the unanticipated or additional revenue is always gonna hit this revenue report, and you'll be able to tell by the percentage if we're over and what we,
Yeah.
so we budgeted, 1,094,000, you'll be able to tell right off if we have additional, funds that we'll be able to look at for October tax rate setting,
Yep,
to either just leave it in the general fund and or, because there's two pieces, the excess here and then the excess and the revenue are the two pieces that make up the additional
right,
increase of the surplus.
yeah, so I just wanna look at the surplus for now, and then watch as those go through,
Okay,
and keep an eye on that, that's what I wanna watch.
Yeah, but no, that's, if it's not.
And,
we can
and I
figure
think
it,
quarterly is more than sufficient, we don't have to do it monthly, I think, but like as we do these quarterly.
yeah, give you a report with that as well,
Yeah.
okay,
So it's just something so you can, I wanted to make sure it's easily readable for us to be able to, you know, show people why is it 264 and not 460, and what percentages, and follow those percentages.
Versus if it's already pre-spent in a minute,
Right.
you know.
We may even wanna look at how that, you know, that form is produced or worded, just so maybe it's more readable, kinda like we did at the bottom of the report there,
mhm,
and label it. Just something to work on, nothing that needs to be done overnight.
Okay, Bob, anything else on? No. Money? Okay. So we're still solving. Town business, I'm gonna go through some of the town business and the things we saw this for the library door has made progress, it's, actually been installed and they're gonna do the trim and some of the final touches this week, and probably tomorrow we'll finish it a lot, the trim needs to be reinstalled,
Yeah,
so it was,
it's a good project to get done.
yep. Where's the gray tape? We had taken the gray tape off,
Ooh,
did you see, if you wanna take a peek,
who gets it?
say again,
Who gets it?
the old door?
The old gray tape.
Oh,
Who gets the door?
one of us, the termites.
Woody.
Is the finish on it antique brass when you look at it up close, or is it bright brass?
It looks a little bit brighter to me.
I thought we talked about doing like a brushed.
But the thing is, the thing on hardware though.
there was a problem
Probably
with,
just getting the size hardware.
yeah,
You haven't finished it a bit.
I think we went back and forth on that, Dave.
I don't think so. I think it was supposed to be an antique hardware, and I think I see bright brass on there.
Let it show it. No, but there was an issue about getting hardware though. What was the issue you
I
alluded
think
to?
there was, and then there was a big increase of the cost.
Right, it was like
too,
ridiculous.
For
Was
the
it
antique versus the,
was like, I think you threw it up because you said that was way too much. It was like almost $800 more, just for a bar. I recall that.
I think Mary will be pretty well satisfied though, either way.
You
She's
guys,
gonna be happy
you guys
to see
okay
it.
with that finish?
I wanna see I'll go over tomorrow. I wanna see I don't trust pictures. I wanna see it in person.
I'm just asking if you guys are okay with that finish, because I thought, you know, we might have wanted to keep a more antique finish on that door. But it does look better than the brushed nickel, I can say
No,
that.
because
Or the great.
possibly at some point in time, in case the other door that they can't get open because of the crash bar, if they have to replace it, they can match this now a lot easier.
I'm glad they went with that style crash bar and not this one.
Oh, yeah.
that was the big thing, is I
That-
think the crash bar
That was-
type was only available on certain finish. And the other one was that push,
that is definitely.
Probably a
right.
longer lead time with the other finish, and they got that one because there was an ordering issue, I think.
Geez, you can't make it much longer than they had.
Oh, I know.
You have to go to the foundry.
It's not
Okay.
costing us any more than his quote though, cause I
Right.
encumbered $963, and that's what he said his balance is too.
Good.
Okay, let's continue on. Right. There was a thing on here, just, Mike Cummings from the building department is already engaged. He got an estimate for 3 weeks for the school plans to be reviewed. They reviewed it in 3 days. I think we got lucky. They found some shortcomings. The school building group is already engaged with it, and Mike's already engaged with that, so I
There
say,
seem to be minor shortcomings.
yeah, but I'm glad that it got done in a quick manner, and I think I hate to have something already built and then
Yeah.
find
We
something.
talked about a
Mailbox.
60-day delay for it, and we had 3 days.
Yeah. Okay, this is an FYI, just a resident had problems with a contractor in our home, which he terminated. And just wanted to ask Mike Cummings, from the building inspector's point of view, which he was already engaged with inspecting the home. I guess he must be going after the contractor for failure to complete the job in a good manner, and wanted some code type inspections, and Mike provided that. That was just an FYI for us. Next item, it's an FYI, but we are in a butter, as a Gorham Pond abutter, and this is just New Hampshire Department of Agriculture. They're talking about, they're already getting ready to ramp up for treatment of milfoil, and we got notified. This next item is this is the MS 232 report. We all have to sign this. This is just us verifying what was, remember the warrant and the articles were proposed. This is after election. Lean's gotta send this in to, basically, we have to verify the expenditures which we were approved by the legislative body.
Yeah, so this is the MS 232, and it's actually the vote of the town meeting. Occasionally you'll have years where a warrant, which is included in this report, might get amended, a budget might get amended, and I have to report what was voted on at town meeting.
And we can say there were no changes, which is kinda nice.
The Department of Revenue sets a schedule of when the different forms are due, and this one, along with a few others, are due 20 days after town
Yeah.
meeting.
Well, I need 2 signatures.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna open up for public comment. That's it in the main box. Leo, do you have something for us?
Not really, other than what you were just talking about. If
Oh.
that homeowner wins in court, maybe you ought to talk to them, see how they did it.
Touche. Okay, well, sometimes I don't like to complicate things more than we have to. I was getting I saw the email, we all saw the email, and it's like, I need some advice. And the thing is, it's gotta be, get rid of the circular argument and just tell me what to do. You're my lawyer, tell me what to do.
Yeah. Or if they're gonna give you multiple choice, at least direct you to which one they think you should be going to.
Right, the one I will prevail with
Not
for the
just like
town.
here, A, B, or C, do what you
Well, I
want.
think you made a comment several weeks back that they've done this several times.
Yeah, I've been doing this for years and I hear it all the time.
Yeah. So, hopefully, we get some resolution. We got a path started, and I appreciate the cooperation everyone's helping tonight. Okay, anything else, Lee?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna bring back the board. I'm gonna start with Dave.
I don't have anything, I think we kind of discussed most of the issues we had, the door and the town hall, so.
Okay, well, the town hall is still big. The school construction is still a big thing.
Oh, the only other thing, I guess, is now that we're done our town meeting, we should start working on our proposals for the library painting, so we can maybe
Absolutely.
get bids in.
I have it drafted up, I just gotta look at the 3 quotes we got,
Yep,
to look at how they worded some of it, but I'll give it to the board and,
okay,
Get your
so maybe
input
we'll
on
look
it.
at that next week as a,
Yep.
The draft and get ready to send them out.
yeah, as an item, action item, and then we can look at setting
The
it.
thing is, in general, the thing is, I was relatively in favor last year of encumbering the money in 1 year. If it was a 2-year project, I used to have no problems making it over 2 years. It's a large project, and the thing is, that way we don't have to disinclude smaller companies. Because some of the smaller companies can paint, but they may not be able to paint the whole, building in one summer.
I would
They
like-
might be able to.
Oh, they might be able to.
They might be able to,
Yeah.
one thing I wanna make sure that whoever we hire does all 4 sides, not 2 guys on one side, 2 guys on another side. So, my thought is if we, we did encumber some monies in that fund, and if we can get that building painted just like this one, we know the year this building was done and painted and completed.
And so, no, if we cut that contract early, we'd have more time, and we'd be more
And-
apt to get it done.
And we'd be more apt to get somebody to lock in with us early in the season here, so that's why if we can get that done next week and maybe take a look at that.
Okay.
do we really wanna say that, so, that we grant them 2 years to finish the
No,
project?
no, no.
Okay, because
No, he
I'm
was
thinking,
just
what
saying that-
happens if
he
they
was
go,
just saying-
if they default, or if they.
Right.
He was
we'll be
saying
the
if we
same
had a
boat as-
contractor we really wanted to use and they can only do 2 sides this year and do 2 sides next year, we would like to include them if possible.
Oh.
Because,
Or not disinclude them, just automatically.
Oh, okay,
like, say, for instance, we got the guy that painted this building, and he said, I can do it, but I can do 2 sides this year and 2 sides in the spring of next year. We wanna make sure that we can consider him, I think is what Mike was saying.
But the thing is, at the same time, we get someone, if we get an equally competent company that, in our opinion, comes in and does do the same stuff with oil-based primer and all kind of stuff, and they can do it in 1 summer, go for it. Again, weather dependent, but I think earlier, get them engaged earlier rather than later.
Yes, we look at that next week, Lean, when you bring in what you have, we'll look at the plinth blocks on the corners. We'll look at making sure that the nail head information is in here like we did on this building.
Replacing, rotten, I don't wanna paint over rotten boards.
Right, and the number of coats on it and the type. And we'll go through it just like we did last year on this building and make sure that's all ironed out.
okay.
Now,
And
this,
then we'll also include, I like looking at their warranties, cause that differed pretty substantial.
Mhm.
And, we get a good warranty, I think, on this building, so,
okay, anything else, Dave?
that's it.
Bob, to you.
No, I don't have much other than when we do the painting. I think whether it's a big contractor or a small contractor, they'll find time to probably get it done in a year's time. And I think we may have the money there to take care of that, cause we don't have a whole lot of lighting projects, which ate up a lot of money last year, you know? And then,
And we put that money aside knowing that building is what we want to concentrate,
right,
while still having some of these other painting contractors do some smaller jobs for us.
Right.
right.
I think after we get this one settled, we start tackling how we're gonna engage the transfer station and the town garages.
Yeah, look at those
Yeah.
two.
Mhm.
But this is the principal one, this is why we raised the budget so much. Okay. Anything else, Bob? No, you good? Lean, I'm gonna go to you.
We're coming, now that town meeting's behind us, we typically have a summer schedule, do you want me to work on that?
For 2 weeks. Have it ready, we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
I guess my question for you is, does anyone have any time that
Allotted.
they need?
June, July, August.
Right, what, you're gonna request that time off? I know that, Bob's gonna inform us tonight about a meeting you'll be missing in April.
Yeah,
There's something coming up?
yeah. I won't be here at, what's that, they're leaving the 12th, yeah, actually the 12th. I think it's April 12th,
Yeah,
right?
April 12th is a
Yeah.
Thursday.
I'll be on a plane, so.
Well, I think just as you guys did last year, if there's anything controversial, we'll, hold off till the following meeting to get all 3 of our opinions on it, just like you guys did when I was out west last year, I think that worked well, and it shows the board willing to work together, and,
I'll make it in big blocks.
Yeah.
So that you can read it.
you know, that's perfect. You're never gonna let me know that, are you?
You should tell the public what you're talking about.
Large font.
Dave has helped us when I was reading glasses.
Large font.
Okay, it's back to me. I have two non-publics, quick non-publics I wanna talk about, and then we come back to public and close the meeting. There's nothing, I have no other action after the non-publics. So I make a motion to go to non-public
Nault, yes.
for RSA 91-alpha-:3, Roman numeral 2, paragraph C.
Nault, yes.
Kaminsky, yes.
Martel, yes.
Time is 8 o'clock.